Hey, what's up, guys? So, something that just became very clear to me is how much I look outside myself for validation in terms of making a decision. And I'm sure most of you can relate to this. But, it could be anything from changing a diet, reading a book, starting a new exercise plan, just speaking my mind. There's such a tendency on my part to look for external approval, and it's so common, and it's very prevalent in our society to look outside of ourselves, especially because there's so much information out there. We always want to make sure we have all the information before we make a decision, and make sure that it's okay that we do what we feel compelled to do. But what I would tell myself, and what I would tell anyone listening, is if you feel compelled to do something, that's enough of an indicator that you should do what you feel compelled to do. So you don't need to get approval from someone else, especially if you're a grown person. I'm assuming no one watching this is 14, a young teenager who genuinely probably should check with someone older to make sure it's not an incredibly silly decision. But if you feel compelled and it's coming from a very clear place, if you feel compelled to make a decision, or to read a book, to go to a class, to talk to someone, fuck that voice in the back of your head that says you shouldn't, because that's either fear, or it's the voice of someone else in your life. It could be your parents, it could be culture, it could be a coworker, could be anyone outside of yourself. That's always going to be the voice that tries to talk you out of doing what you want to do. On a very small scale, even when I find my way organically to a book, like for instance tonight, I'm actually in the library parking lot, and I went to check out one book that I had read about a little bit, and then a book caught my eye, and I started reading it, and I decided to check it out. But even as I started reading the book, in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, well, maybe I should look it up on Amazon to see if it has good reviews. I don't know if it's good. Is it worth reading? And that was kind of when I realized how much, at least me personally, how much I look to other people or for other people's opinions on stuff rather than trusting my own. And it's so true on a small scale for so many other areas as well. I don't do this as much anymore, but if I was gonna see a movie, I would always check the reviews. I would read about it ahead of time. But why? If you feel compelled and you're interested in seeing a movie, see the movie. Read the book. Go to the class. Go to the church. Talk to this person. Just do it. If you feel compelled to do it, just do it. It's silly not to. It really is. So that would be the takeaway from the short video, is just don't look for a second opinion. Your heart doesn't need a second opinion. Your gut instinct very often does not need a second opinion. Your intuition does not need a second opinion. When you're following your deepest purpose and your deepest calling, and you're living from that space, very rarely will you need a second opinion. Sure, you might need to check yourself every so often to make sure you're not going completely off the reservation, but I think too easily we allow ourselves to be swayed by the opinions of other people. I can imagine, or I can't even begin to imagine the number of times I've let myself be talked out of doing something or seeing something or reading something because I either read a review of it, or I talked to someone else about it. If you feel compelled to do something, don't look for someone else. Because if you look to someone else, chances are they might just tell you a reason not to do it that you were secretly hoping they would. Because if you were scared of doing it, this person's going to give you a reason not to do it so you can feel validated and rationalize it. But if you feel compelled to do it, just do it. No one else outside yourself is going to say, hey Jeff, your intuition told you to do it. You should probably do it. Like, no one's going to be able to understand exactly how it hit you, how you knew you should make this choice. So trust your instinct, trust yourself, stop looking outside yourself for validation, and live from that space, and it will be amazing how your life will transform. I can speak to it, especially the last 2 months, how much I've stopped looking outside myself. Obviously, it still happens, as I noticed today, but as you become more aware of it, you can choose to go back to your own choices and truly make choices from your own heart. Peace out, guys. I hope this has inspired you or brought to light some of your own behaviors. Much love and have a good night.